that was on our players' hearts, coaches' hearts heavy. So appreciate all the support and continued support for them.
We'll get started with questions here. Start with Aaron and then go to Tony.
Sherrone, what happened with Davis Warren's 3 interceptions, and how would you evaluate the quarterback situation right now?
Yeah, I mean, just can't have it. Put the ball in harm's way too many times. So made a change, and we'll continue practice, see we'll go from there.
We'll go to Tony. We can do without the mic if we need to.
Yeah, Sherrone, just piggybacking on that. I guess, is this the plan for forging it to get looks going forward, or
That's what we practice. We'll figure that out in practice.
Were you surprised by some of the turnovers today from Davis? 11 to 14, I guess.
Yeah.
He was consistent until he lost.
Yeah, just not great stuff to put on film, and yeah, I was surprised. You know, it's football though, so that stuff's going to happen, and we had to make a change.
On the left.
Yeah, Sherrone, could you assess the offensive line improvement from the Texas game to this game? What things you saw that pleased you and perhaps also frustrated you?
I mean, I think the biggest thing we talked about, we stressed, was running the football. We had 44 attempts for 301 yards, so I'd say that's pretty successful at 6.8 yards a carry. So that was an emphasis we put on the team, on the players, running backs, O-line, so that was good. But we just know we got to stay balanced and do the things we need to make sure we're balanced in all phases. So got to take care of the football, number one, and then be able to run the football like we have been. That made me happy. So, but from a not even just a run game, but everything perspective, we got to eliminate the penalties. You know, we talked about the penalties, saw the penalties. You could say they're this, say they're that, but you can't have them. So for us, we got to clean those up, be more disciplined. I got to do a better job with the team, making sure we're more disciplined to from this day forward, and continue to do that, and I will.
On the right, Ryan.
Colston, Miles Hinton, and Rayshon all seem to be banged up and left the game today. Just what are early indications of how maybe severe those injuries might possibly be?
We'll see. We'll just, that's why we got doctors, so we'll see what the doctors say. I think, Colston left, and then Miles just cramped up, and then same thing with Rayshon, so we'll see what the doctors say. Further eval.
On the left here, Austin.
Sherrone, on the interceptions, last week you mentioned the guys around the quarterback needing to play better. Today, maybe on a couple of those, protection wasn't perfect, things weren't perfect, but I guess how do you sort of weigh that on the interceptions today in terms of the quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, some of it was protection, but, at the end of the day, we just got to take care of the football. We can't have those turnovers. We take a lot of pride in making sure we don't do that. Usually when we take care of the football, we win, so that's what we're going to go try to do.
On the right, Noah.
Winter's successful day for the run game. Paul Mullins in particular, his first career 100-yard game, 3 rushes over 30 yards. Where do you see him take a step forward?
I mean, I've seen him. I watched him last year. I think he averaged like 6 yards a carry last year, so it doesn't surprise me he's running the way he is. He just needed all the opportunities, but when you got Blake Corum, it's a little different, So he's handled it very well. He had less carries than Donovan, and I mean he had 153 yards and averaged 10 yards a carry. So I mean the guy's just a workhorse, but Donovan's no slouch. He ran hard, physical. Kalal just made some big plays when it was there. So proud of both those guys for sure.
On the left, Angelique.
Sherrone, what goes into the decision when you have Crippen in there versus Dom or vice versa?
Yeah, we thought competition. I always talk about competition, and all those guys definitely know that. It goes back to the last 3 years when I was coaching the O-line. It was always whoever practices the best is going to play, and just right now those two guys are both practicing at the same level, but practicing pretty good. So, you got to still give them the opportunity. So Greg got the opportunity, so did Dom. So we'll see how the film looks.
And also on Davis, after the third interception, what's his reaction to that? And do you tell him, you're
I mean, he's disappointed as you'd think he would be. So for him, but his attitude and the way he carried himself with the other guys was outstanding. But he knew that he couldn't do that and put the ball in harm's way. But he was as positive as could be.
Back right, Reiner.
Going back to the disappointment of the penalties, considering where the team was last year, why do you think it's gotten to this point where you're having the turnovers and you're having penalties?
Yeah, well, it's a different team, but we got to be better at it. That's plain and simple. There's not really an excuse for having those issues. We got to be better at it, and it's my job to make sure we are, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
And even that next week, you know, going into week 4, I mean, how concerned are you that the quarterback is an issue at this point?
I wouldn't call them an issue. We're gonna go to work. So we'll get better as we did in the running game last week. We'll get better in the passing game, and we'll continue to strive forward.
In the front here, Steve?
Sherrone, could you assess the play of Alex Orji today and the option that he presents?
Yeah, he played well, had the overthrow, but, wanted him to just let it rip and get some confidence and let it out there, and did a good job just managing it and taking care of the football, which is the number one thing we want our quarterback to do. So, we'll see where we go from there.
Back middle?
Coach, you mentioned that Tuttle was back throwing this week.
Yeah.
Need an option to go next week?
We'll see. Just, not a doctor, so I'll let the doctors figure that one out.
You guys have anything else for Coach Moore? Angelina?
Donovan took the blame for the first pick. On the second one, did his arm get hit on that?
Yeah, it did. It did get hit.
And so when you're evaluating, do you think, the first one was Donovan's breakdown there in protection and then getting hit?
Yeah, I've never played quarterback, but I can probably assume that if you get hit, it's going to affect your throw.
No.
So, yeah, I think that's part of it. That's part of that's part of it, and that's why he stayed in the game. But the last one was just an heir apparent throw, so had to make a change.
On the right, Zach?
With Tyler Morris out and Colton Loveland out for the second half, how important was it for Marlon Klein and Fred Moore to make some of the plays that they made, and also can you speak to their growth? I know they had strong fall camps.
Yeah, it was huge. We've always had a lot of confidence in Marlon and still do, and think he's going to be a really good player, and he's continuing to show that in the run and the pass. So confident in him, and then Fred has been doing this since last spring, so it's good for him to get it in the game and get confidence going and add to the depth of the room. But the other guy that we've really been high on and, had his first touchdown was Hogan Hansen. He's a guy that's just all camps just made plays, and we're just like, well, when it's his time, he'll be ready. And he stepped in there and made a big play, so happy for him too.
Liz?
Especially with the two late Arkansas State touchdowns, how would you assess the depth across the defensive today and the performance of the guys?
Yeah, when you look at the whole game and you look at ones and twos, the ones and twos went in there. Besides the first drive, I think they didn't have a lot of football plays, and they didn't have a lot of successful plays. But we went in more, and we got the threes, we got the fours in, and those guys didn't finish to the depths of the first two groups. So I addressed it in the locker room. We know we got to finish as a team, and I think thought the first two groups did an outstanding job and played our type of football.
Bring it up here to the front, Clayton.
I was going to ask about that. I guess the first defense played outstanding.
Yeah.
What did you like the most? And just talk about the way they responded off of Texas.
I just thought they all did their job. They did exactly what they were coached to do. They weren't trying to press to make plays. They just made them. Coverage was sticky. Run lanes were shut down. Those guys everything was gapped out. They made a couple plays here and there, but they really did a really good job and just played our style of ball. And it was really good to watch those guys rally, and some guys stepped up. Some guys like Ike, he really stepped up, and he's really taken the next step to be a guy. Rayshon Benny's another guy behind him that's already played that stepped up. Trey Pierce is a guy inside. Jimmy Rolder is a guy. So we're adding that depth. Amir Hall made a big play in the red zone, batted the ball down. So you're seeing guys take the next step on defense, and it's great to see. And we love the competition. Everybody loves the competition, needs it, but we need the depth, and those guys are really helping on defense.
Got time for about two more. We'll start with Aaron.
Colson come out of the game, is that precautionary, or do you feel there's something more serious?
Yeah, whenever they say that someone's down, I listen. So I'm not going to make a decision medically. So that was their decision. So then we just went from there with the next guy.
Do you have one?
Yeah. Obviously, you saw it in training camp, but now that you've had an opportunity to see Coach Martindale run the defense against a variety of offenses, how impressed are you with how he's kind of adjusted his NFL schemes and tendencies to what the structure already was here, kind of personnel?
Yeah, I think he's done a great job. I think especially today, made some adjustments and things we did, some coverage adjustments and play adjustments, and even in the style way he did it, I thought he did a great job of handling it and making the plays. And You know, like I said, a lot of the breakdowns in the 3s and 4s were just guys not doing their job, and it's a whole collective deal. It's not a one-person deal. So we got to do a really good job coaching. We got to do a really good job playing. But I thought he's done an outstanding job. I thought today was really, really good, and you know, we'll see. Watch the film.